Okay, we're up to the final parak in Masechta Basra, and it's called Get Pashat. So usually when you think of get, automatically your mind goes to Gitei Nashim. But if you look at the first Tosfos here, Get Pashat, Eida Mesaychim Mekusher Eida Mecharim, Kol Shtar Chayiv Kari Get. Any Shtar Chayiv is called a get. Kida Omar Get Chayiv She'ein Bo Achrayis. We say a get chayiv that is no achrayis, beperik goisel kama. Now, obviously, achrayis is a term that's used by a shtar halva, that you know with shibudim. So you see that you're not limited to saying that it's a get isha. Another example, perikama de gittin, we say kol get sheyesh of eid kuti pasel chutz migitei noshim. So obviously you're saying kol get, but we'd like to welcome Avrami Weinreb from Eretz Yisrael. Welcome, Avrami. And it kol get shein of edekute pasel chutz b'gitei nashim. So you're seeing gitei nashim. So you see that a get that they're referring to is not gitei nashim. Okay, and it just comments that this perek really belongs in gittin. It doesn't necessarily belong over here. Okay, also we have the same similar. I put out. If you look at the first Tosfos in Masechta Gittin. Look at the first Tosfos in Masechta Gittin. I sent it out very, very late. But also we discussed that. And we said a little more information there. We said, Hamevi get, we didn't say, Afagav the Lashar Shtaris Pomim Navikari get. So here's the opposite. You're starting Masechta Gittin, right? And you're saying that other stars are also called get. So over here you're saying right that it's usually Gitei Nashim and other stars. And now it's saying that even though shar shtaris, even though most stars are called gettin, then get is also ketnan b'sholeach. Ein edim chasum ala get elam fei tikkun ha'olam. V'ari b'chol shtaris. It's speaking about all stars. Or perekam t'skabel nami tanya b'chein legittin. When farish hasam, it's speaking about gitei mamin. Mikol makam lechutzrich lefarish kan get isha. So it doesn't say. So Tais is asking a kasha. Why don't you refer to his guys as get isha? Why don't you refer to as get isha? If in other words, not to mistake it for another get, because stammer when you say get, it means get isha, and then he throws in that 12 lines get matrias is get. Okay, so that's the. Well, also there's a gra, very interesting gra. I heard that the reason why a get Isha is called a get is because there's no gimel in a test, and all of the words in the Torah, gimel and test never come together. You'll never have a gimel followed by a test, so therefore it's a period, right? That you're showing that you're showing that there's they're separate. That's why it's called get. Fascinating. I'm only going to say such a thing. Okay. Anyway, so basically, when it says get pushed, it does not mean what? It does not mean a gitei nashim. It means any star. However, in fact, over here in our Mishnah, it does mean a get isha. Over here in our Mishnah, it does mean a get isha, as we'll see. So says the Mishnah, get pashut. That's a regular get, a regular star. Eidav misaychai. The eidav are inside. And mekushav eda me'achayrav. And the get mekushav, it's eda me'achayrav. Now, what is a get mekushav? What is a get mekushav? So I sent out a picture, guys. Now we'll get a little background over here. It's the picture in the art scroll. If you have an art scroll, you should have this picture. Okay, you see the picture online? Guys, the guys are online. You see the picture? Penny, tell me you see the picture. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. So to get Makusha was very interesting. You'd write a line, you'd leave a space, you'd write a line, you'd leave a space, you'd write a line, you'd leave a space, and then you have it regular normal. Now, what are you writing a line, leaving a space? There you're giving the typhus of the get, the tyrif of the get. There's two parts to a star. There's the tyrif and the typhus. The tyrif is the identity, the parts that are unique to that document, the names of the particular people, the date it was written. That's the tyrif. The typhus is the boilerplate. That's every single star is the same. You have a kasuba, you fill it in. What you're filling in is the tyrif, and the boilerplate, what's pre-printed, is the typhus. So over here, what you're having written is the typhus, the tyrif. You're having written is the tyrif, and this is according to the Rashbam. This is Rashbam. Rashbam says this is what a get Mekusha was. That this picture was a get Mekusha. Now, there are other pshatim in the get Mekusha, predominantly the Yad Ramah. Yad Ramah says it had strings attached, and you would roll it, cut the strings, roll it, cut the strings, roll it, cut the strings. Whatever it is, it took a long time to write. Whatever it is, it took a long time to write. Now, why? As we're going to see on the Amid Bays, is that because of Mendi Haga. So let's say, let's say a Kohen's a hot-headed guy, has a fight with his wife. He goes ahead, writes a get very easily, gives it to his wife, and then regrets it. Well, guess what? That's it. You're finished. She's a Gerusha. She can't go back. Whether she lived with another man, did live with another man, it doesn't make a difference. She's a Gerusha. So in order to avoid that, what they made was the get for the Kahanim, very, very, very difficult to write. And as a result, it's going to take time to do it. And by that time, his anger will go ahead and go down. And therefore, he'll be able to go ahead, and then his anger will assuage, and he will go ahead and not divorce his wife. So that's the point of it. The Gemara is going to ask, so then why do we have other shtaros that are Mekusha? Why do we have other shtaros that are Mekusha? It doesn't apply. And the answer is, well, if you wouldn't make those Mekusha, then you would forget all about a get Mekusha. So again, we'll see Bes Hashem, the Amid Beis, and Taisvis, we'll see. So get Pashit, Eidav Misaycha, the Eidim are inside of it. Mekusha is Eidim Me'achayrav. Pashit Shekasu Eidav Me'achayrav. Get Pashit that they wrote the Eidim on the outside. Mekusha Shekasu Eidim Misaycha, Shnei Pesulin, they're both puzzle. If you don't do it the right way, it's going to be puzzle. If you don't do it the right way, it's going to be puzzle. Mekusha Shekasu Eidim Misaycha is kasha. A get Mekusha that you wrote the Eidim inside is kasha. If they Pashit, go ahead, undo the sewing. I forgot to mention that that folds, each one was Mekusha, it was sewn. So it was sewn. It wasn't they just made it folded. You sewed it. You sewed each line with a line that was empty, a line was full. You sewed that, like a fan, right? Like one of these fans, right? Like an accordion. And so those were sewn. And so therefore, what happens if you unsew it, and then you'd have written the get and signed. So therefore, it would be kasha because it would look like a get pashit. It would look like a get pashit. Everything is the minig hamadina. Again, we'll see this in the Gemara. Will explain all of this. Get pashit edav b'shnayim. A get pashit. You had edim two edim. Umekusha b'shleisha. And again, mekusha you had 3 edim. Okay. So let's see the Rashbam over here, guys. Mekusha edav me'achayrav. Right now, you'll get the Rashbam Shita, how to write this get. Mekusha Edav Mechairav, Kaisav Shita, you'd write a line, Umeniach Chalak, and then you leave what? A blank. Kishir Shita Haksuva, the same size as the Shita as this line that you wrote. The Kaifla ala Chalak, you would then take that line that's written, you would fold it over on the smooth part, the Taifer, and then you'd sew it together. So we have the picture, right? You have the picture over here. And after you would write this over here, you'd fold it over. You take the top, you put it over here, and you'd sew it. You take the top, and you would sew it. So you're sewing a written line onto a line that's smooth. You're sewing a written line onto a line that's smooth. V'chein harba, k'dei makom tayrif, and you continue to do this to the makom of tayrif again. That's the name of the people and the Isman. Edim chasumim b'chutz, and the Edim will write on the outside. Kinyan shepirusha amaroi b'gemara, as we'll explain in the Gemara tomorrow's daf. Ubavachlei a kishar of merubim me'edav. You should not have more folding than the Edim. So maximally 3. Kidanam b'sech the gittin. That will be kireach. That would be a get kireach. The bald get. The toifis shall star koisav kula kein pashut, and the toifis of the star, the boilerplate, you would write normally. So guys, in the picture, you had the fold at the top, And then you had the smooth in the bottom, the boilerplate would just be what written. That's called the straight part of the sewed part. Right? This part over here, guys, in the picture, the guys who are looking at this part is called the straight part of the sewn part, right? This part is called the pashut of the makusha. It's called the pashut of the makusha. That's what it's called. The pashut of the makusha. The elu hakfela is called kafel v'kafel v'nei atzma. V'nir b'chutz bein kafel v'kafel kain keses hasoifer kezeh, and he shows it on the side. Okay, so basically you got the idea. Now, shneim psulim, shleinasu k'tikin chachamim. If it was supposed to be kosher, you wrote it pashut, or vice versa. You didn't do what the chachamim wanted. V'im shtar chofu ein a goyva boy, and if it's shtar choiv, and the minig is not to go ahead and write that, you wouldn't collect from lekuches. Then gerisha in a mizkaresha, she would not be what? She would not be mizkaresha. So far we have the following. We have a get that is straightforward. We have a get that is what is mekusher. It's not only a get, but it's even a shtar, a regular shtar. We know that a get that is mekusher has 3 edim. A get that is regular has 2 edim. We know, according to Rashbam, a get mekusher is you have the rif of the get, meaning the unique identity of the get, the people and this man written on the lines that are what are on top, and they are then folded over, left with a space left over in between, sewn shut, and then you'd have all the at the end you'd have the regular part of the typhus, and the Adim would sign on the outside, not on the. And we'll see what that means. Machlokes, what does it mean on the outside? Okay, we'll see that's tomorrow's daf.
Do they still make it for part of today like this?
Right. They not only don't make it today, even the time of the Tana Rebbe they didn't make it. This get mekusha, no one's ever seen. That's why this huge machlokes, what it is. No one ever saw a get mekusha. Forget the time of Rishonim. Gemara is going to say even in Rebbe's time they didn't. Wow. Okay, Benji brought it up. Let's take a look at the top taisus on the Yomid base, guys. Top taisus on the Yomid base. Not your fault. Okay. Tick the Rabbanim Mekusha. All the boys are angry at you. Tick the Rabbanim Mekusha.
No dessert for Benji.
Okay, so Misafgalon Bisman Azeh Kishakoyim Megarish Ishtoi Im Tzarch Lasla Mekusha. They're Mesupik if in this day and age, if you divorce your wife, then you have to make a Mekusha. Kimitoicha Takana Mashma. Shein legarish kiyim mekusha. They said this takana azayidas. In other words, the Khanim gets divorced. That's the way it's got to be. So it's mesupik if you had to do that. Kiyim b'mekusha. Ach lefi shein anu b'kiyim by b'toiv. Since we're not experts in this, Nachan Yosef says Taisvis lasoisi pashet. Make it a regular get. Shukal Yosef, which is much easier. In other words, they never saw one, so they know what to do. So this is the Middle Ages, right? So he's saying in the Middle Ages, make it a get pashut. Inami leitakin rabban kimbayis makom. Maybe they only made it in the place, and if the place wasn't noik to use the get mekusha, they didn't use the get mekusha. The rihaya oimer that the kin rabban mekusha loishe chayva laslaisai. Not there's a chiyuv to do it. In order that the wives should not lose their husbands, they were matakin. In other words, when Taisa asked the kasha, Taisa asking, and what happens if Kohen would not use the get makusha? So Pashtus, he won't be divorced because that's what that kind of was. He has to use the get makusha. And the Ri is saying no. It wasn't saying it's a chiyuv to use it. It was just for the betterment of the wife. But Einachinami, if he would go ahead and write a pashut, of course it would work.
That's Kahanim were hard-headed as it is, so they wanted to slow down the whole.
Almost all of them.
Almost all, except you.
Yeah.
As you get older, you told me, okay.
There's always an exception to
Okay,
Truck driver and you know what I mean? Hey.
finish with the Mishnah. So
They fight with everybody.
Eida Mishnayim Umakusha B'Shleisha Pashit Shekasa B'Eid Echad, a Pashit, a get Pashit that you had 1 aid Umakusha Shekasa B'Shnei Eidim. Shnei Psulim, they both be puzzle, which seems to be Pashit. The Gemara is going to say. Now the Gemara asks Menani Mili, fellas. Menani Mili what says the Rashbam? Sheyesh Shnei Mine Shtarois Chalukim Zemizeh B'Eidim Umakusha. How do you know there's such a breed? How do you know there's such an animal? How do you know such a thing as 2 and 3? This one has 2 Eidim, this has 3 Eidim, this is Makush. Where do you know this from? Now, what does it mean, where do you know this from? So if you look at the Rabbeinu Gershom, the last line of Rabbeinu Gershom, Minani Mili, you see it? A few lines up. Minani Mili, Diktani Masnisan, the Ika get Makusha, Fitzarach Edim, Heikin Remez Min HaPasuk. Where is the Remez from the Pasuk? You see it? What does that mean? Is it Mashmi Yutz Deraisa? Guys,
No.
again, from the words of Rabbeinu Gershom, where's the Remez from the Pasuk? I would say what? It's the Raisa. I would say it's the Raisa. Yet they're going to bring Mekaimis from Divrei Kabbalah, meaning they must have known it, and they were looking for a source. So it's mashma from Rabbeinu Gershom in the Havamin of the Gemara. When it says Minani Mili, it's asking, where do you know B'deraisa? However, the Ritva and other Rishonim say that no, they know it's the Rabbanan. But often the Gemara will ask Minani Mili, where did the Rabbanan find a smach, like an asmachta, where they find a source for this din? Which to me makes a little more sense, right? How can you have it? You need anyway, l'chala pakas, okay? Again, we're going to see the Gemara goes ahead and changes its mind and says the Rabbanon. So therefore, Rabbeinu Gershom said the Havamina must have been the Raisa, right? Or the way the Ritva is learning, we always knew it's the Rabbanon. However, you do not need a smach for it because it was Takana the Rabbanon in Svara. It wasn't dependent upon a pasuk. Now we know that when Bnei Yisrael went into Galus, when Bayis Rishon, that Yirmiyahu went ahead and he advised the people to go ahead and be kind of their property and put the star in a jug and bury it because you're coming back. And you should have proof. We had this in Cheskes Abatim, right? That the Shalashanim, guys shouldn't squat in your land, you should have your star. In addition, Yirmiyahu bought a land from a person named Chanamel. He bought a name of Chanamel, he bought a piece of land, and Chanamel and Yirmiyahu were both Kahanim. They were both Kahanim, okay? So with that in mind, Minani Mili. How do you know? Again, according Machloikes Rishonim, how to learn over here. But let's go with the Rashba. Let's go with Rabbeinu Gershom. He was the old. How do you know? Where's the source? The Raisa for what? For these two types of shtaros. So Amrav Chanina Damakra. This is the pasuk that it says where Yirmiyahu says Sadais Bakesef Yeknu. This is where we learned that carcass nickname Bakesef, guys. Sada Bakesef Yeknu. The Kasev Baseifa. You should write it in a sefer. The Chasim and sign it for Ha'ed Edim. And Adam should testify the rest of the pasuk. Beretz Binyamin, Ubesviva Yushalayim, Ubar Yehuda, Ubar Yehar, Ubar Yashvela, Ubar Negev. Ki Ashiv Es Shvusan Hashem. Hashem is going to return your shvusim. Hashem is going to turn back. So therefore, the whole pasuk is going over the topography of Eretz Yisrael, different places. Write a star, make sure what you know where you're going back to. Okay. Now let's start in this pasuk. So it says, the pasuk says. Sadis Bekesef Yiknu because of Besefer Chaisim. V'heid Edim Sadis Bekesef Yiknu. What does it mean? Sadis Bekesef Yiknu V'kasav Besefer Zepashet. Write it a sefer. Right, guys. A sefer. What was a sefer? Picture a sefer Torah. Right. It's straight and it's scrolled. Right. So it's straight. So that means what? That's the sefer that we're discussing. V'chasum. V'chasum's mashma that it is. It's sealed, guys. Chasima means sealed. It means signature. It also means sealed. So that was alluded to a makusha. Because a makusha, when you sew it up, it's sealed, right? When you makusha, it's sealed.
Signatures on the outside.
Okay, again, but again, you just want to have next for aid is shnayim. Now, how do you know aid is shnayim? From Gemara Saita, right? What's Gemara Saita say? It says when it says aid echad. What does it say aid echad? Because Dafka over here is Eid Echad, but if it doesn't say Echad, it's Shnayim. That's the Gemara in the site, the guys. Eid Echad. Why do you have to say Eid Echad? If Eid means one, why does it say Echad? To tell me when it doesn't say Echad, it means two. Okay, good. So Eid Shnayim, Eidim. If Eid is Shnayim, Eidim Shleisha. So you have a beautiful remez. What? Two types of shtaris and the halachas of Eidis. Okay, Tzad Shnayim lepashit and Shleisha lemakusha. So according to this first pshat. Rabbi Chanina tells us from the pasuk by Yirmiyah that we have a remes to the two types of sefer is pashut, chasam is makusha, eid is shnayim, eidim is shleisha. Okay, it's that shnayim lepashut, shleisha lemakusha. Fredum of Eiba Chanan, why don't you say pashut is 3 and makusha is 2? It says mitoysha misraba biksharav. Since you're going ahead and you're going to increase the knots, literally the sewn parchments. Nisraba be'edav, it's Nisraba be'edav. Says the Rashbam, B'toyshe Nisraba be'ksharav, shehichmich by Yakosev, the Torah is machmir, v'triach lasois kishurim, and made us go ahead and sew it closed. So that's Reb Chanina. You're learning about from Yirmiyahu. Rav Mamam also from Yirmiyahu, but what? A different pasuk. It says over here, Yirmiyahu is saying what he did. What did he do? But the Ekach HaSefer HaMikna I went ahead and I took the Sefer HaMikna from Chanamel, right? As a chosam a mitzvah, chodim as a gola. Now it's very nice, fellas, that who's speaking? He's speaking about Yirmiyahu and Chanamel. And what are they? They are Kahanim. So therefore, Kahanim, it's a good allusion over here. That's why you would need a get makusher. You need to get makusher. In other words, it's very geschmack that not only is Yirmiyahu telling you, we're using the pasuk Yirmiyahu, but the Yad Ramah says beautifully that since he was a kayin, that and other people are regular people, so the other people would need a regular, and he would need a kosher. So remember, they would geyser shtorei so to get. So therefore, very geschmack. So since you're kahanim, you need them, right? It fits in very nicely. Why you need both. He took what he says. I took the sefer hamikna as a chosum hamitzvah b'achukim b'es hagoloi. There's a ekach sefer hamikna is a pashut again sefer as a chosum is a mekusher the same limit as before. B'es hagoloi is a pashut shebe mekashurav. A goli, what's revealed, fellas? That's the revealed part. That's the revealed part of the mekusha. The revealed part means the bottom part, the boilerplate that we showed in the picture, right? That part over here, as you can see over here, that's the goli sheba mekusha. This part over here is the goli sheba mekusha. That's the revealed part of the mekusha. Okay, that's the limit from that. The revealed part of the mekusha. Hamitzvah v'achukim elu devarim shmein pashul mekusha. These are the nafkaminas in halacha between a get that's pashut, that's right straightforward, and a mekusha. Okay, sad. Zeh eidav shnayim. The pashut is 2. Zeh eidav shleisha, and the mekusha is 3. Zeh eidav misaychai. Right, the pashut is inside. Zeh and the mekusha is eidav me'achurav. It's on the outside. Let's say 2 to 3. They're the same teretz. Okay, so this is Rafram. So both psukim are learned from Yirmiyahu. A third pshat, and this is from Rami bar Yecheskel. So Rami bar Yecheskel, what does he say? He learns it out from here, from a pasuk right? A pasuk in Devarim. It says, "Layakom eirecha beish l'chol avain l'chol chatas l'chol cheda sheyachta al pishnei edim al pishleisha edim yakum davar." To 2 edim or 3 edim yakum davar. It's extra. In Teskai beidusam b'shnayim lama parat l'cha b'shleisha. Why would you have to say 3? Lama l'cha shnayim l'pashut l'shleisha l'mekusha. 2 edim for pashut and 3 for mekusha. I guess they learn out the different types of gittin from Yirmiyahu. Because he's only learning out one part. He's only learning out the this part. Good. The Epachano, let's say 2 by Mekushim and 3 by Pashut. Shemitosh Nisraba, the same teretz B'Ksharav, Nisraba Veda. So you have three. You have Chanina from Yirmiyahu, you have Rafram from Yirmiyahu, and you have Rami bar Yecheskel from the Torah proper. Pishnayim and the Yakum Dav. Okay. Says Gemara, La Melchosh Shnayim Pashut Shlesh Mekusha. The Epachano. Okay. Says the Gemara, there's three psukim that you learned out, 2 from Yirmiyah and 1 from Devarim. This is what it's coming to teach me. It's coming to teach me what? Get Poshet, we get Chol guys. So this fits in very good with the Rebbeinu Gershom. The Raisa, you're learning from Diri Kabbalah, you're learning from this pasuk, Fred the Gemara. That's what it's coming to teach me. I need it for something else. So if I need it for something else, obviously it can't come to teach me get pasha and get makusha. What do you need it for? Kol chad v'chad l'milsehu. Each one needs it for its own particular halacha. Who does it? Chidetanya, a brisa. Sadis b'kesef yichnu v'kaseh b'sefer v'chasim eitzah toiva kamash malon. What's he telling him? We had this Gemara. Buy the land, right? We had this in Cheskabatim. Yirmiyah is telling the people, buy the land, sign it, and go ahead, take it in a canister and bury it, that you should have it. That's not going to teach me get poshut, get kosher. It's come to teach me an Eitzah Taiva that Yirmiyahu gave what? The people. That's what happened. In other words, he's not telling you halacha, he's retorting what occurred to him with Chanamel. Lahakish shloisha l'shnayim beplukted Rebbe Akiva Rabbanon machloikis in Makis. Use to be mezim. If it's a cut of 3, you can't be mezim. If you make edis, you need what happens, guys? You have a cut of 3 and you mezim 2. It's no good because you have all 3. It's machloikis there. So in other words, I need it for that. Since I need it for that, I don't have it extra to teach me this. So therefore, I don't have a source for what for get these 2 types of gittin. Ella says the Rabbi. Ella mekusha midrabanan. Mekusha is the Rabbanon, guys. No, so this is, we thought once upon a time it was the Raisa. Now it's the Rabbanon. V'kroi asmachta ba'alma, and the pasuk itself is not the source for it, like you thought. It's what? It's a place where the Chachamim found a place in the Torah, but to go ahead and make the takana. Place the Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is based upon a Meshach Chachma. That what's an asmachta, fellas? Kodesh Baruch Hu knows everything. He knows all the chiyuv deraisa. He knows all the chiyuv derabanan. He knows everything. So why didn't he give it in the? So we say, guys, the Dravana is the kaicha deraisa, correct? Where does he get the kaicha from? Because we know Hashem wanted it. What's the asmachta? Geshmak. That's the place in the Torah where Hashem left that they should find it a source for it. Hashem knew it's going to be. He knew you're going to have muktzah. He knew that, right? So why do you say it, right? Why? So he wanted to leave a place to go ahead, the Rabbanon, and they found the smach. We're to go ahead and say it. So that's not smach. The time it might takin Rabbanon mekusha. What's the reason they tackle to get mekusha, which again was very, very hard to write. You have to write it and fold it and sew it. Is asra de kahana have. When they didn't make the kahana, it was in the place of the kahana. That's why Tosfos said that maybe it's only in that place. Asra de kahana have. So it's not all kahanim. It was that particular place. V'havei kaptei tuva. And these kahanim in that place, they were really, really tough guys. Umegarshin neshayu, and they would divorce their wives. The other Rabbanan takanta, the Rabbanan made a takana at the haki v'haki, right? That what? That misvah daitayu. By the time they go ahead, right to sket, they would go ahead and their das would calm down. And his yanach gittin, okay, very good. Hatenach gittin, shtaris ma'ikol meimar. Guys, very good get. Why is there such thing as a shtar makusha? In other words, if this is in other words, Bishlam, if you tell me there's 2 types of gittin, right? It's not limited to what? To gittin nashim, so I can understand across the board. There's like we were learning until now, there's a get, meaning all shtar, there's a shtar shich, there's a shtar kosher, and there's a shtar pashid, and a shtar makusha. But now that you're telling me that the whole purpose of the get makusha is for gittin nashim, so why in the world do you have such a thing called a shtar makusha? Why do you have such a thing? Why does such a thing exist? The shtar makusha. Why does such a thing exist? Ma'ikol Neymar says the Gemara kadesh leitachalik ben gittin l'shtaros. You should make a chilik what between. You should make a chilik between gittin and shtaros. Okay. In other words, to remind us by get, since get wasn't so common, guys, it was much more common for people to go ahead and have a shtar of halva or a shtar mechira or something than you would have a shtar for a get. I mean, it wasn't common. It just wasn't common. It's still not common. It's more common than it used to be, but it's not common. So therefore, you might, if you do not exist in the realm of shtaros, you might forget by get. So the reason it existed in the realm of shtaros is simply we shouldn't forget by get.
Why would somebody do it? For what reason?
To what?
Why would someone make such a regular shtar?
That was the that was in that place. That's the only thing you could use. Yeah, that's what the Mishnah said. We'll get to that, Rami. In other words, that if the minig of Makim was to make a shtar kusha, that's all you do. That's the way it had to be. Okay, so now if you look at just the Rashbam, let's do a few Rashbam. Eitz Tov Kamash Malon. Let's go from there. Go up a little bit. Eitz Tov Kamash Malon. Kedim Farish Bereish Ches Abatim. Kedichsiv Nesatim B'Kli Cheresh L'man Yamdu Yamim Rabim. It should be in the Kli Cheresh. It exists for a long period of time. What are they called? Time capsules? Right?
Very,
Yeah, they've time capsules, right? It was a time capsule. 70 years is a nothing time capsule. They have these old time capsules, right? And plukted Rabbi Akiva Rabbanon, Masech Makis, Lahakish Shlosh Lishnayim. I told you one nafkamin. I forgot the other. There's other nafkaminas. I told you one linear gittin. There's other ones also. Elamakushim the Rabbanon who can the Farish time to come on. In other words, until now I thought it wasn't the Rabbanon, right? Until now I didn't think it was Rabbanon. It's the Rabbanon. And what happens in this place? The Kahanim they would get angry. When Megarish Nishasayu, they would divorce their wives. Mitoich Kas Shaget Poshet Nichta Mehera. A get Poshet can be written very quickly. Nochim Meiragzam, and when they would go ahead and calm down from their anger, Eina Yechalom Lahachsiger saying they wouldn't be able to bring back their wives. Kedechsiv Visha Gerusha Meisha Lo Yikachu. Okay, and then tomorrow, Bes Hashem will see exactly where they signed on the stars. Rami Weinman in the middle of the night. Rami's in Yerushalayim.